What's up? What's up? It was muted. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Thank you for stopping by. And we got to get into the updates for Nancy Guthrie, mother of Savannah. Still missing. Still missing. And Tomasino has been accused, or Tommaso's been accused. They're saying he's involved, allegedly. The brother-in-law, with a scathing report that came out last night via Ashleigh Banfield. Now, Ashleigh Banfield had said a couple of things that were interesting, like that the back door was left wide open, the blood in the front door, the pacemaker disconnection. We knew about that. The community is not gated. The area is dark with no streetlights. Forced entry. Now, the whole thing, let's listen to that video real quick, which the police are saying there is no person of interest, which, they could be lying. They could just want to protect the integrity of the case, or it really could not be that there's a person of interest yet. Let me pull up Ashleigh Banfield. Ashleigh Banfield. And by the way, the Pima County Sheriff says that he believes Nancy's alive. Do you guys think Nancy's alive? Nancy? I hope so. Let me skip to, let's see, where she talks about the suspect. I had a timestamp here. I think it's 18.
Guthrie's car and Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law. That would be Annie's husband, Tommaso Cioni, age 50, from Tucson, Arizona, married to Annie P. Guthrie, Savannah's sister. And my law enforcement source tells me that Tommaso Cioni is the prime suspect in this case. Again, law enforcement source tells me that Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law, married to Annie Guthrie, Savannah's sister, is maybe a prime suspect in this case. At the very least, let me tamp that down, because sometimes it's the first person you're looking at, not prime as in there's no one else. Okay, so let's be really mindful of that. Families are always looked at first as well. It doesn't mean right away. Listen, Ed Smart was targeted for weeks as, without question, somebody they needed to look at. Possible suspect, right? Heartbreaking for Ed and Lois Smart, because it wasn't them who took Elizabeth, right? But that's what happens. When anything happens like this, familial abductions, the family's looked at first, and Annie and or Tommaso Cioni were the last people to see Nancy Guthrie at 9:45 at night, the night before she disappeared, abducted, kidnapped. Kidnapped was the word that the sheriff used with me. But it's very distressing to think that this law enforcement source is telling me that Tommaso Cioni is maybe a prime suspect in this case at this point, and that the car belonging to Annie has been towed and impounded and is in evidence. That's the word that was used with me.
And the police deny that too. So the police are denying that there's a person of interest, and they're denying the car being towed, but they kind of denied it in a weird way. We're going to have to have it on one of the articles that I saved.
This law enforcement source also said to me, who has the motive to kidnap an 84-year-old woman? The way it was described to me is, that's a burden, right? It's a burden to kidnap an 84-year-old woman with mobility issues, needing medication.
Yeah, you got to take care of her. She's on the pacemaker. She's on the blood pressure medication. She's on all this stuff, and they left the medication behind and all her other stuff behind. And some of that stuff they said is critical.
Medication, that is a burden. And then this law enforcement source said, so you look at people who would have a benefit to an 84-year-old woman going away, disappearing or dying. Sometimes it's somebody who has an insurance benefit from that. Sometimes it's somebody who may benefit because there's a debt, and that may be helpful. These are just musings. They are not evidence, okay? But they are musings from people I trust implicitly due to their longevity in the business of investigating this exact kind of thing. I told you already about the pacemaker information. The law enforcement sources have narrowed it down.
Okay.
Down to the kidnapping happening at 2 a.m. based on the pacemaker stopping at 2 a.m. That's when they believe Nancy was taken from that house. All four.
Now, as far as the ransom notes, too, she said that her source doesn't believe that the ransom notes are legit, but it seems like the police still believe it's legit from the things that I've seen.
My source says that they don't believe that this is real. They think it's just troublemakers trying to insert themselves into this story. Could that change? Yes. I just want to give you a little bit of information on Thomas Ocioni, Annie Guthrie's husband, whom at this point, I am told again, may be a prime suspect in this case. He's 50, from Tucson. His bio from a website that's an Italian website, an official Italian website for the Taparulan Society, Cultural Association, the Taparulan Cultural Association, a nonprofit focused on promoting contemporary artists. His bio says, I was born in San Giovanni, Valderno on June 18, 1975. Since 2006, I have lived in Tucson, Arizona. I write when I have the chance. I study lizards. I play the electric bass. I make homemade pasta. LinkedIn reports that Thomas Ocioni is a teacher at Basis Oro Valley School from 2007 until present. Says he's a primary instructor for 6th grade science and AP biology. Reverb Nation, that's a music website, says that he put out an album with a 3-man music group called Early Black. Music is apparently available, but that's all I know about Annie Guthrie's husband, who, again, one law enforcement source, very connected, highly regarded, impeccable credentials, knowledge of this investigation.
So, one, the Pima County, they believe that she's alive. Pima County. They believe that Nancy's alive. Let's check this clip here.
Fourth day with the Pima County Sheriff saying he's holding out hope Savannah's mom is alive.
We have nothing else to go on but the belief that she is here. She's present, she's alive, and we want to save her.
Believe she's alive. The other thing, too, Brian Enton just posted this. I saw some people mentioning in the chat that they are searching currently. Deputies were just searching the area behind Nancy Guthrie's house, which makes you wonder if there was a development, because you would think that's probably one of the first places they're searching originally would be behind the house around the area. So for some reason, they've gone back. There's a chase. There's a chase. They say there's a chase. Hello? Hey. I don't know. Somebody said there's a chase. Where's? Oh, there's a chase? Okay. All right. Thank you. Huh? Okay. Bye. Y'all said there's a chase? Where? Oh, shit. That's what y'all care about? All right. Fuck it. Police chase. Let me pull it up. Hold on, give me 1 second. KTLA, thank you. It says a chase. We got to interrupt the stream. Oh, shit.
3 lanes available here. Fortunately, there's not a whole lot of traffic right now at 11:30 in the morning. There's Avenue 42, 43 coming up. And driving about 80 miles an hour on average. We'll see if we can punch in here and see it. Yeah, the windows are pretty dark, so it's kind of hard to see inside. We might have another opportunity to kind of look inside, see if there's possibly a passenger with that driver.
High-speed chase.
But having to slow down here for some of this traffic that they're coming up to.
Rich, how many units are behind him or her?
Well, we saw, I believe it was at least 4, about 7 I would say at least 7 directly behind this car as we're continuing northbound on the 110 here.
All from Huntington Park, or did the CHP get involved here now?
I believe it's all Huntington Park. Honestly, I had not had a chance to look at each of the squad cars, but it would appear that it's Huntington Park, and it's possible they could get CHP involved, maybe the sheriff at some point, but right now Huntington Park's taking the lead on this. The sheriff helicopter obviously keeping an eye on this car as well, but yeah, really just weaving around these cars here, and only 3 lanes available. Some people trying to slow down and go off, trying to avoid this this pursuit on that narrow shoulder. All right, so here we are exiting. I believe that might be via Marcel.
Pit maneuver.
Marcel, and going to set up, make that right turn. So now we're going to be southbound here. I believe this is the South Pasadena area, or pretty close to it. And we're still eastbound here. Going about 60 miles an hour, center divider there. And at some point we'll try and see if we can look inside the vehicle itself. But all right, set up for another right-hand turn, Monterey Road. And only 1 lane available here with the bike lane, so hopefully it doesn't have to make any rash moves with what limited space this car has as they're making their way through this area. I'll try and get you a more accurate, town here, city. All right, coming up to look like maybe an intersection there, but pulled over, seeing this car coming up fast in its rearview mirror, as well as the black and whites with their lights and sirens going behind it. And I'm trying to multitask here, bear with me.
If you're just joining us, we are covering a pursuit by Huntington Park Police Department. This is a gray 4-door sedan. We are hearing that it is wanted as a stolen vehicle. No details about how many people are inside, if they're armed or not. Just got off the 110 North on Via Marisol, and that's sort of near, Rich is checking right now, sort of near the South Pasadena area. At least he thought that that's where it was. Maybe you can clarify that for us, Rich. But these speeds pretty high, not currently right now, but on these side streets, 100 miles an hour is not safe at all, especially for pedestrians and other drivers.
Yeah, I would agree. There was a couple of sharp turns there that this person had to try and go around, and there was only one lane available on each direction, and had to veer over into opposing traffic, and we saw someone kind of veer out of the way. So back here on one of the majors, this is Huntington Drive, and we're somewhat close to the Debs Park area, and now we're westbound. So
you just hit a car.
Eventually,
we can't drive.
Like just tapped.
Is a lady driving?
Yep, swapping paint here with that SUV in the front, and you can see the driver.
Shit.
That's.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see what we can do here. Kind of hard to make out. That's a. Well, okay. So they're trying to box in the driver here. If this car continues to try and ram the squad cars, that would be an assault against a peace officer. And now it looks like the person is pinned.
He's taking off. What's he doing?
So they're trying to get in there quickly, try and pull the
yank
driver
his ass out. Oh, the lady! I knew it.
Several people that
I knew it.
Car. And there's a driver being taken in.
Is there a baby in the back?
The passenger being slid out, and it looks like there's at least somebody in the back of the car as well.
Oh shit!
So
yoked their ass. Is that a kid? That's a kid on the floor.
Four
That's a boy.
people being taken into custody now. As Huntington
I didn't even see that boy on the floor. That's a boy. There's 4 people in there.
Did not waste any time.
How many people are in the car?
Car and pulling these people out, especially before they had an opportunity to try and race off again. It looked like that car had just enough space to try and take off once again from officers, but they saw that, got in there quickly, and was able to pull the driver out, which you can see is on the ground right there with her hands behind the back. So looks like we had let's see, possibly two boys and 2 girls that were taken out of that vehicle. Again, this all started, we believe, in the Huntington Park area, or Huntington Park PD was the lead agency in this pursuit. The vehicle believed to be stolen, that's according to the Sheriff's Department, and now has come to an end here at Huntington Drive and Topaz near the Debs Park area.
It's so interesting, Rich, where she was sort of penned there. They totally took a chance and basically got out and tried to apprehend pretty quickly, which is very dangerous.
Yeah, you know, these people were endangering the public, and they could have easily tried to, you know, race off once again, and also showed signs that she was willing to possibly, you know, drive into the squad cars here, which, you know, at that point, that's deadly force, and it could have been a situation that you know, could have been a much worse situation. But it looks like it has all come to a good resolution here, with all 4 people now taken into custody, and you can see the person here looks to be the driver of that black SUV, grabbing some pictures, likely for the insurance company.
Yeah, a stressful day, you know, for him.
Looks like they're all going to be okay. Looks like a passenger there as well. So he will probably, you know, again, take pictures, maybe answer any questions that maybe the police department has, and then go about his day. But this vehicle here is now being taken into custody by the police department.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise the way that one ended, the way the driver was zooming on the freeway. Then once she got on surface streets, still driving aggressively, but as soon as she hit some heavy traffic, couldn't get through, rammed that vehicle. Then the black and white unit showed up from the Huntington Park Police, who'd been in pursuit of this stolen vehicle, and it all quickly comes to an end. Surprising 4 people inside the vehicle and a female driver. And even after they took her down to the ground and handcuffed her and took her to the car, she was still trying to resist. But
wow. All right, guys, I'm gonna stay right there. Do not fucking leave. I'm gonna make a change to the connection so we can smooth it out. So don't go. Stay right there. All right. I'm out of here. Fuck that. I'm out of here. We had a police chase. Hello. It takes a while. Okay, we back? Are we back? Okay, I think we're back. You guys can see me? You can hear me? We're good. All right, so let's continue. So we had a little chase. Now, the latest update is Brian Enton says that Nancy Guthrie's house, the back of it, is being searched. Did they find something? Is there something of interest back there? Why are they searching back there now? The rear of the house. Should have been done days ago. I'm assuming that they would have done this days ago. So maybe something happened, something came up, maybe they saw something and they're going back for some reason. Beds. Cops. That's one of the updates there people are talking about. Pima County, though. Pima County is saying, and this was earlier today, that they have not identified a person or a suspect of interest in this case, contradicting Ashleigh Banfield's report. Now, the cops could just be, holding this back. Maybe they don't want him to know that he's a person of interest. They could be holding that back. Or the source could be wrong. Okay, cops deny report. Brother-in-law could be a suspect. No suspects have been identified in the ongoing investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Banfield, an independent journalist and former News Nation host. Oh, I thought she was still with News Nation. She's not with News Nation no more? Hey, what? former News Nation host. I thought she was still at News Nation. What happened? What happened with that? Yeah, cops can deny everything. They don't have to be honest. They can lie. They can lie. And these are pictures from this morning where I guess everybody's being monitored out in that town. They're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect picture to take. And as they were leaving their house in their vehicles, Annie and Tommaso was captured in their vehicle. She was kind of looked like she was trying to hide her face a little bit. All eyes on them. Everybody's watching what they're doing, where they're going. Federal and local law enforcement left Annie's home on Tuesday after a 2-hour meeting. Damn. Kind of a scary picture, though. It was scary right there. Jesse took over her show? Really? Why? What? Oh, she wanted to focus toward her true crime podcast, Drop Dead Serious, with Ashleigh Banfield. She's killing it on YouTube, framing it as a strategic move. She now leads the network's digital true crime vertical content and coverage with her podcast integrated into their platforms. Oh, okay, that's cool. Hey, okay, you go, Banfield. There's another picture here of them kind of covering up their faces. Damn, bro. Oh, no. Look at that. Covering up their faces. Media caught them leaving. Now, this lady, too, she said she's a reporter with the local news station, and she had said that they have not identified a suspect or person of interest in the case. And they go on to say the detectives continue to speak with anyone who may have contact with Miss Guthrie. I know there's a lot of information circulating out there. This is what is confirmed at this hour. And Annie, some people said the verbiage was weird. Annie reportedly noticed no flags at the time. She was one of the last ones to see Nancy, her, and Tommaso. Last ones to see Nancy alive. They dropped her off at her home. This is, and their home's not far from the house. It's pretty near, close by. The home that the sister bought, Annie, $650,000. She's a poet. He's a chef. Not saying they couldn't afford it, but that's a pretty hefty price tag for those occupations. Unless Savannah helped pay for it. Makes you wonder, money problems. I don't know. It's a reach. I don't know. Who knows? For everyone saying he's a teacher, not a chef. Yes, I know. I was just going off a Tumblr blog. Yeah, he's a teacher. Yeah, true. They're trying to get out of the house low profile this morning, but they can't get out because everybody's watching the media. Everybody's keeping an eye. This is a picture of Annie and her husband in January 2021. Picture of the house over the top, Nancy's house. And some people are pissed about the step or the brother, not brother, I keep saying brother, the son-in-law being accused or potentially being a person of interest. How responsible journalists are not randomly blaming people. And been meant to say now randomly blaming people. People are asking about the other sibling, Cameron. Anybody's heard about him? They said he lives in Vermont. Back door left wide open. However, didn't the family search for Nancy an hour before they called 911 on Sunday? Who's to say they didn't leave the back door open? This is possible, yes. Press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We got a press conference, so we'll see what's going on with that. No press conferences today. The Nest cameras are saying were destroyed, according to Ashleigh Banfield. But I would think even so, they like on the cloud. There should be able to recover cloud video. Unless that person knew exactly where it was or knew the code and disabled them, turned them off, unplugged them before breaking them. No body, no insurance. It could take years to claim someone deceased. Damn. Brother is/was a fighter pilot. Really? Look at her eyes. Sampaku eyes. The son-in-law, 6th grade teacher, AP biology. What do you love most about teaching? I love the fact that I'm able to share my passion for learning with my students since I teach the 6th grade in AP biology. I love seeing them grow or growing from preteens to young adults and see them express their potential. Who was your role model? My dad taught me the love for nature. I still go and forage for mushrooms with him. When I go back to Italy, my mom taught me the love for cooking and cherish food. These two passions still define who I am today. If you weren't a teacher, you would be. I would be a rock star, of course, but wait, I'm still a rock star. So a poet. Poet. This is just some updates throughout the day that we're going to go through. Thought it was a good article to kind of touch up on any bits and details that we missed. Savannah Guthrie has 2 older siblings, Annie and her brother Cameron. She's very close to Annie, who reportedly saw their mother for dinner hours before Savannah was reported missing. Wait, what? Hours before Savannah was reported missing. They meant to say Nancy. I don't know. Nancy. Annie has made several appearances on the Today Show. Oh, I didn't know that. Since her younger sister began co-anchoring in 2012, her older brother is a retired F-16 pilot. Sports Stooge, thank you. Thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. Sheriff established a $2,500 reward, which a lot of people, I don't understand either. $2,500? But if there really is a ransom, it doesn't matter what value this reward money is put at. And that ransom, I thought had an end date, like do this by then or else. There's Mama. 84-year-old mother of the Today Show host Savannah. She's described as 5'5", weighing 150 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes, considered a vulnerable adult, mostly due to her age and physical mobility issues. She does not have any cognitive issues. So press conference tomorrow. We get a press conference tomorrow. Perfect. NBC announces Savannah Guthrie's Olympics replacement because she's not going to host the Olympics anymore due to the extenuating circumstances. Sheriff believes that Nancy's still alive, which is
This
hopeful.
morning, the desperate search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie now entering its 4th day, with the Pima County Sheriff saying he's holding out hope Savannah's mom is alive.
We have nothing else to go on but the belief that she is here. She's present, she's alive, and we want to save her.
NBC News is aware of 2 reports of ransom notes sent to news organizations that reference Nancy Guthrie. NBC News has not seen those notes, and so far, no law enforcement agency has substantiated them. The Pima County Sheriff's Office saying it's also aware of the reports, adding, "We are taking all tips and leads very seriously."
The leads we've got coming in are critical to us. They're valuable, and we're sharing those with the FBI and others.
FBI agents are now working closely with local authorities. The Sheriff's Department says Guthrie had several cameras at her home, but it's still unclear if there's any footage from the overnight hours when she was believed to be abducted. They're also still trying to find any usable video from neighbors' homes.
To give you a sense, this is what the neighborhood looks like. Many of the homes are on these big lots set back from the street with all this tall, dry vegetation blocking any view of the road. There's also no street lights here, making capturing video in the middle of the night even harder.
President Trump weighing in on Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
Would you commit to more federal agents like helping out on this?
Sure, I would. I'm going to call her later on. I think it's a terrible thing. I always got along very good with Savannah. Very unusual situation, but we're going to find out.
While authorities stress help from the public is key,
every lead and tip is important.
The NBC family and supporters across the country continue to stand by Savannah.
What you see on the Senate Today show is real. Those people are special people, and we're just heartbroken and devastated and praying for Savannah and her entire family through this difficult time.
And as you guys know, understandably, Savannah is no longer going to be traveling to Italy for the Olympics this week, where she was scheduled to host the opening ceremonies on Friday. She's obviously going to stay here in Tucson with her family as they continue this search. Guys, there's so much support for them here in the community. In fact, a local church is holding a candlelight service for Nancy tonight to pray for her safe return.
Oh, yeah, they're going to do a vigil.
Amen to that. All right, Liz Court's force on the ground in Tucson. Starting us off again, Liz, thank you. I want to turn now to ABC's Tom Winter, who covers law and crime. Tom, good morning to you. Let's talk about what's transpired since we last talked 24 hours ago here on the set. In terms of the investigation, where are we now? And where does it need to go from here?
You know, Craig, we've gotten some new information. Unfortunately, it's not really new information that can help us advance the case today or help out people that are watching that want to assist with this case. You just saw in Liz's report as she was walking there in the vegetation. We're looking at it now. That's something that a number of people reached out to me yesterday and said, did they find any tire tracks? Was there anything that they were able to see behind the house? Because so far, there's been no sightings of any suspicious or unusual vehicles on any of the cameras from the other houses on the street where Nancy Guthrie lives. And unfortunately, the sheriff says, well, no, as a matter of fact, we have not seen any tire tracks surrounding this house. So that was difficult. There are some technological challenges that are occurring with the cameras that were at Nancy Guthrie's house. So that's making things more difficult as far as trying to find any video that may have occurred in those overnight hours when it's believed that she was taken from that residence.
As you know, there are reports circulating now of ransom notes to news outlets. Yeah. About Nancy. What should we make of that?
Right. So there were 2 notes that were sent to news organizations yesterday. They both referenced Nancy Guthrie. I have not reviewed those notes, but based upon what we're told, they have not yet been substantiated by law enforcement. So they haven't definitively tied those notes back to this case. It is something that's going to be investigated by the sheriff's office. Those notes have also been relayed to the FBI. So they're in the course of investigating those as well. They have some expertise as far as trying to track down that information. But sitting here this morning, there's nothing that leads me to believe that at this moment in the investigation, those are actually connected to.
So let's keep going up because I had seen somewhere where they said they believe it could be. So we know there's a press conference tomorrow. Oh, they kind of updated this. I'm going to do that. Nancy Guthrie's friends are holding out hope that she is found alive. Marianne Blevins, who is in the book club with Nancy Guthrie, told us US Weekly that their friends are praying and hoping that she comes home alive. I think everybody's not only holding out hope, but doing a lot of praying, and that's pretty much about the only thing I know. I don't know anything else. Oh, apparently he called her. Donald Trump followed up through the call. He promised to call Savannah. A White House official confirmed that the call happened, but did not provide any details. They got over 100. They got 100 detectives out there on the field, specialized detectives, FBI involved. The works to find Nancy. I remember this debate. Was this in Miami somewhere? I remember this debate. Guthrie. So we know that she's got to be replaced for the Olympics. Craig Melvin. Oh, God. Melvin. Craig Melvin. That's the person replacing her? Alongside today was set co-host the opening ceremony for the network alongside Terry Gannon at Stadio San Siro in Milan, Italy. Notably, Guthrie's Today Show co-host Craig Melvin, who was scheduled to host Olympics late night from Milan from February 7th to the 9th, will also remain stateside. Okay. So I guess there's no major updates for today since they're not holding a press conference today. I wonder if they'll come out tomorrow and be like, we told you he's not a person of interest. Stop harassing. Can't even talk. Stop harassing him. We told you. The lies. Maybe they'll address it tomorrow. Those pictures, man. They got high quality pictures staked out at the house. They're saying Savannah's staying with Annie. And that she's really close to her sister. Camera ripped off. Those Ring doorbell cameras. That's why it's good to have like other cameras. Not just the Ring doorbell camera. Yeah, because somebody could walk up and rip it off. You can get one of those window cameras. Just bloop, right there inside. To me, though, this doesn't look like it was, I don't know if it was ripped off or somebody actually used the little key thing that you're supposed to use. I don't know where my keys are, but this little key thing that you slide right behind it and it unhooks the thing. This looks like somebody knew to unhook the camera device. Or else it would have ripped off. The camera would have ripped. I think the part of the wall might have been, the door, part of the hinge would have been pulled out or ripped. Damn, ducking and covering too. Oof. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean guilty, but it's got to be intense. All the TV stations, media. Annie and her mother spent the evening enjoying a dinner together, playing mahjong, a Chinese four-player rummy-style game. Annie raised the alarm the following morning after Nancy failed up to show up to church. Ransom notes were delivered to TMZ and a local news outlet, KOLD, on Tuesday afternoon, demanding an undisclosed sum of Bitcoin. The notes are said to have shared details about damage to Nancy's home and what she was wearing that would have not been released to the public. That's interesting. And the Pima County Sheriff's Office have acknowledged them, but have refused to verify their contents. It's a possibility. It could be legit, man. But I thought, did the deadline pass already? What was the deadline for the ransom note? Let me see. I thought they said, someone in the chat had said, Chief. Deadline for a ransom note. The deadline has not been publicly disclosed. I thought I read an article that had said like a Monday or Thursday or something. Some unverified social media Facebook posts from Court TV related groups mention speculative deadlines like payment by Thursday with a receipt by Monday. These appear to be anecdotal. That's what I had heard too, something like that. Payment by Thursday, receipt by Monday. Tomorrow, yeah. Maybe tomorrow they'll confirm or deny, like this situation with the ransom notes. $2,500 reward money. Nano said there were no tire tracks at the scene, but insisted he was still hoping to bring Nancy home. She lived on the property since 1975. Wow. Her husband died of a heart attack in 1988, just at the age of 49, leaving Nancy to raise Savannah, Annie, and her son, Cameron, as a single mother.
We are learning about a possible new clue in the search for the mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie this morning. Authorities are looking into whether a ransom note sent to a local TV station there in Arizona is legitimate. Jonathan Vigliotti spoke with a Pima County sheriff who said they felt compelled to share the note with Guthrie's family.
The thousands of tips that you get, you don't show everything.
Well, no, because some of them just don't have any.
This rose to the level.
Sure does. It's more threatening. You guys asked, was there any threats? This was pretty threatening.
Jared Hill joins me here in studio now. He's been following this heartbreaking case since it broke. Jared, what more do we know? Good morning.
Errol, investigators said that they had hoped to keep this purported ransom note under wraps, at least until TMZ reported they too received what seems to be a ransom note. While the legitimacy is still a question, investigators say that they are taking this and every piece of evidence seriously as they search for Nancy Guthrie.
We don't know where she is.
Critical questions as the search for Nancy Guthrie, mom of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, stretches into a fourth day.
We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos confirms to CBS News an apparent ransom note sent to a local TV station is now a part of the investigation. In it, specific details about the 84-year-old's home and what she was wearing the night she went missing, but he would not confirm its authenticity.
It's like any piece of evidence. You give it to us. You give us a lead. We're going to look at every aspect of that lead and work it as a lead.
TMZ says it also received a note demanding millions of dollars in Bitcoin, forwarding it to the sheriff. This as CBS News cameras captured what appears to be a small amount of blood outside of Nancy Guthrie's house. Nanos says a little bit of blood was found inside the home as well.
We've submitted all kinds of samples for DNA, and we've gotten some back, but nothing to indicate any suspects.
The FBI is assisting, conducting interviews and analyzing local cell phone data. The agency also asking for the public's help.
Every lead and tip is important. We are aggressively pursuing and looking into every single one.
As the search continues, the sheriff says he does not believe the broader community is in danger.
The sheriff. Let's see what this guy had to say here.
So give us your take here. How does this
former FBI agent
ransom note, the legitimacy is still being looked into, but if it does turn out to be real, how does it change the investigation?
Well, it's like the sheriff said, it's another piece of evidence, and it's treated as such. They're still working on authenticating it. You know, some of the details, my understanding is that they knew things about the crime scene that were not made public yet. That still doesn't automatically jump you to authenticating it. So it's going to be run to ground just like any other piece of evidence. You're going to look at the when, where, what, how, why. Where did it come from? Who might have sent it? Who did it go to? How was it sent? All those things have to be answered. And if it is then authenticated, perhaps that starts a dialogue with whoever's responsible. But the concern is this is public. Other people know that you have a missing person, and anybody can send in a ransom note and say, yeah, it was us, and we want these millions of dollars in crypto. And you just can't assume that that is accurate.
Right. You'd hate for investigators to be distracted as they race to find and save Nancy. Let's just wonder that if there is a demand for money, does that mean the victim may be better treated? Because we do know that Nancy is at least without her medication, which she does need.
It's possible. It's hard to speculate on that because every criminal, every person that would do something like that is different. You don't know about their emotional state, about their desperation. There's so many factors. It's hard to answer that question. The medication, and that's certainly of concern. You know, this isn't just a minor thing. It's something that she needs to survive, and that will certainly play a factor. And perhaps that will push this along faster than it might have gone. But we'll just have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, we're wishing for the best. Doug, thank you very much.
Doug. So there was this guy that I saw too on X, and he was like taken up for Tommaso, and he was like upset. He said Tommaso is an amazing guy. Absolutely no way he's involved. Shame on Banfield for spreading this garbage. So he was making a couple of posts. Why doesn't Savannah go on television and offer a $1 million reward right now upon the safe return of her mother? I would have done it this days ago. Offer to wire it anywhere they want. Any network would allow it, especially NBC. Made another post too. Let me see. Imagine going through everything this family is going through and also having to contend with vile humans who post stuff like this. Unreal. Annie and Tommy are amazing people, dedicated parents who also love and care for Nancy on a daily basis. So this person's upset. I guess he knows them personally. Brian Stelter. Okay, Brian Stelter. A bit of new reporting from me. The morning local law enforcement reiterated to people involved in the Nancy Guthrie case, that there are no suspects at this time. So we'll have to see if it's true or police are just saying that. You don't really know. Zin, he's in Arizona too. He's in Arizona. Okay. He's not happy. He's not having it. Chilena was saying that Annie, too, is a self-proclaimed oracular, refers to Tommaso as a great manifester. The spirits. When a self-proclaimed oracular calls someone a great manifester, they believe this person consistently gets what they intend, goals, outcomes, relationships, by bending the circumstances to be in their favor, so to speak. An oracle, great manifester, means the person's thoughts, beliefs, or energy are usually effective in shaping reality. They are aligned with fate, the universe, and higher intelligence. Well, nothing wrong with that. Dang. All right, let's see what else. What else we got? So the police are denying the person of interest. Oh, she just dropped the episode. Let's listen to
Ashleigh Banfield, who hosts her own podcast called Drop Dead Serious, is breaking exclusives on this case like nobody's business. And yesterday, she had quite a doozy. I'm going to bring her on. She's going to explain what she learned, but she reported exclusively that they actually do have a potential suspect in the case, and the identity is rather shocking. I'm going to bring her.
Not only were the cameras smashed, plural cameras smashed, so that the suspect likely knew about the locations of them, but that the car belonging to the sister of Savannah Guthrie, Annie Guthrie, was towed, impounded, and taken into evidence. And this is the wording. It's very important. The wording is very important. He said they now believe the son-in-law may be the prime suspect. Those are the words. Son-in-law may be the prime suspect at this point. And I'm very mindful. I covered the Elizabeth Smart case. I was out in Salt Lake City for 5 weeks while Elizabeth Smart had vanished. And I recall specifically a lot of language saying Ed Smart is likely the prime suspect here. And so you got to be really mindful that, as you know, Megan, you're a lawyer. Police investigations start in the middle of the circle, and they go out in concentric circles in terms of investigating family members.
It's surprising to me because there was forced entry. And from the beginning, I thought, well, they must have ruled out the family pretty quickly if this is a case of forced entry, because the family wouldn't. They've gotten her in the car, Ashleigh. I mean, like, I'm picturing a scenario where couldn't all those facts be consistent with they came in through the back door, then they got her, then they brought her out the front door after injuring her. Then the blood trail continued just to the driveway.
Well, it didn't.
Where they then put her in a car.
That's the problem.
It ended well prior to the driveway?
Yeah, the blood trail is just at the front door.
The front door,
or
yeah.
on those tiles. Then the gravel starts right away, and it's a walkway to the driveway, and it's not close. I mean, it's a bit of a ways. Nancy Guthrie can't walk 50 yards, pardon me. Nancy Guthrie can't walk 50 yards on her own, so she would need assistance. And if you're bleeding and you've been in some sort of a melee, that would be even less. So I was going through the scenarios in my mind. Okay, maybe the front door camera is smashed and the doorbell is rung to get Mrs. Guthrie downstairs, because that would be difficult in the middle of the night. It would get her down those stairs. So the confrontation might happen at the front door, right there at the tiles. There's a struggle. And then because the car is not parked right out front where all that could be visible potentially, maybe the car is around the back, and that's why they go out the back door. And because
is that a
you're
possibility?
Now struggling, I have no idea.
Could a car be parked in the back?
I don't know, because I've been trying to see with drone video whether the car could get out into a darker spot or maybe out of camera view, because the smashing has to happen. But I was told that the cameras were smashed, and plural. So if there's a camera in the back, camera in the front, smashed. And then, of course, Brian Enton noticed it and said, asked the sheriff, did you take them? Or do you think the guy or the suspect took them? And the sheriff had a funny answer. He said, yes, I noticed that too. We're looking into it.
Yes. So what he saw, Brian Enton saw, was like the remnants of a Nest camera, not even the Nest camera, right? Like, it was clear to him that they had been removed, which is not the same thing as destroyed. The sheriff is saying that they were destroyed right before we got to them. So he made it sound like they were destroyed by the perpetrator here, by the bad guy.
Sheriff didn't say on the news conference that the cameras were destroyed. Brian Enton shot that video and asked, the cameras are missing. Did law enforcement take them, or did the perpetrator take them? And the response from the sheriff was, yes, we noticed that too. We're looking into it. And so, look, I can tell you, you know this, Pima County, there's not a lot of crime there. I'm trying to think of the last major thing that happened. I think it was Gabby Giffords being shot there, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? And so I think he's working in real time, and trying to protect his investigation, keep the integrity, and answer real questions he wasn't expecting maybe, and couching, his verbiage as best he can. But he didn't say.
Okay. All right. There was this new article too. This new article that I just spotted by TMZ. It says Nancy Guthrie kidnapping, cops probing trespassing case for possible link. So there was a trespassing case, apparently. A suspicious man was seen lurking in someone's yard near Nancy Guthrie's Arizona home several weeks ago. And police are now investigating the case to see if it's tied to the mother of Savannah Guthrie. So there was somebody seen lurking a couple of weeks ago. In early January, an elderly man spotted the trespasser in his Tucson home, less than 10 minutes away from the 84-year-old Nancy's house. The sheriff department said the case was forwarded to the unit for investigating Nancy's case as for possible leads. Okay. TMZ spoke to the elderly man who says he caught the loiterer in his yard after a motion sensor went off and a floodlight switched on. We're told that the light spooked the uninvited guest, who fled on foot before anyone could get a good look at his face. The man noted there was no break-in attempt and nothing was stolen from his yard. Okay. So they're looking at all leads, anything possible, and there was some weirdo trespassing in one of the neighbors' houses. In early January. 10 minutes away from the house. Motion sensor caught the guy in his yard. Weird. Hey, Anna. Let me see if there's anything else new on this. Just wanted to touch on this. So no press conferences today unless something crazy happens. They do have a press conference scheduled for tomorrow at the exact time. Well, I'll be out of the house. It's perfect. It happens every time. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. The FBI is investigating letters from sick trolls menacing the Today Show co-host Savannah with threats about her missing mother. One letter sent to Guthrie was from a nutcase who said he had knowledge of the abduction, but also included a slew of slurs. The writer also made reference to the accused murderer, Luigi, and the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot. That's just one of the numerous letters that's been emerging. Other notes have been sent to news outlets like TMZ, included purported details from the inside Nancy's home, claims about what she was wearing and when she was taken, and even a multi-million-dollar ransom. So we were sending in all kinds of letters, nut jobs, crazies. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'm hopping off. I will catch you later. If anything breaking, emerging comes on, I'll jump on. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. We'll see what else today brings. Hopefully she's found safe and alive. All right. I got to fix some things with the streaming software, the camera thing. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate it. I'll catch you later. Be safe. Bye. Bloop. Bloop, bloop.